Xbox.
Oh, yes. And this is AJ trying to predict the future of Xbox.
What will be the future?
Is this the end? Or is it just the beginning?
Speak to me, Phil Spencer. Welcome back to the 128KB podcast. We are back once again due to lack of popular demand.
As always.
Yeah, that's right. This is your dose of all things gaming this week from him and me.
Oh, hello.
Yes. And Andy.
Yes, AJ.
I want to predict the future.
Oh. I like that.
I've been reading a lot.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah. I've got this new book. 50 Shades of Xbox.
Oh, that's good, that one.
50 Shades of Green.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Green.
Thanks very much.
That's good.
I'll be here all week.
I like that, yeah.
Yes, I've been reading a lot about people predicting the future of Xbox.
Yeah.
And it's kind of making me laugh. So I want to pose the question.
Yes.
As you saw in the video title.
Oh, yes.
Is this the end of Xbox?
Oh.
No.
No, of course it's not.
But is Microsoft's Xbox going to become just a publisher and is no longer going to produce the actual console anymore?
Yeah, people are basically saying, is it just going to become Game Pass only? Pretty much.
And I can understand some of the logic there.
Yeah, me too.
It kind of makes a bit of sense.
It does, yeah.
So I can see where they came to the conclusion. Obviously, Microsoft's big push, as we've talked about a lot, has been to get as many people to subscribe to Game Pass as possible.
Absolutely.
They've been trying to offer as much value in there as they can. Mm-hmm. New AAA releases from their stable of developers and publishers going into Game Pass. Starfield is in their day one.
Yep.
And we're going to see more of that, especially from that Bethesda and then the Activision and Blizzard.
Yeah.
We will see a huge amount going into Game Pass, and there will be more and more people signing up to it.
Yep.
Also, Microsoft have been on the hunt.
Yes.
And they're just buying everyone.
Yeah, they're just like, give us everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing, just so that they can actually offer games now.
Yes.
Everyone's complained, like, where's the games at? And yeah, fair enough. Like, they've not been wrong. But in the background, they've been buying up everyone to make the games.
So up to the point in which, really up until the point in which Starfield came out, which is their first kind of big hit into this.
Yeah.
They have been way behind on like console exclusives or exclusive twos. They've just been behind. They've been behind Nintendo. Everyone's behind Nintendo on that, to be fair.
Yeah.
But they've also been behind PlayStation. And truly the biggest factor as to whether you buy a PlayStation or an Xbox, they're the two competitors, is the games.
Yeah, exactly.
What games are available?
Yes.
And right up until this generation, Microsoft were leagues behind.
Yes, yeah.
That's why PlayStation have done so well.
Yep.
But now that tide has shifted, or is shifting, rather.
Yeah.
Microsoft have just been, like I say, buying up all the publishers and have been focusing more on the games than necessarily the marketing the hardware, at least.
Yes.
So that's where the story comes from.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like they are doing that. I know everyone's like, where are they? But they're in production now. Do you know what I mean? Because you think 360 era, there was games everywhere. And there was amazing games, especially like exclusives as well. There was like huge, like 360 rose to huge success because it was just so good. Like, ignore the Red Ring of Death and all that. The game side of it, there was tons of them. Yeah. And then it kind of just like went off track from there, really. I mean, Xbox One and stuff, there's a lot of good games on there. But now, especially the Series X, but I feel this is the same with the PS5. Both systems don't really have any
this generation isn't. Yeah, it's not good.
It's not. But I agree that Xbox has been behind. But I do think that they've just been paving the way of the future. They've been slogging away in the background on Game Pass, getting that just running as a service, like, correctly, and having it like ease of use. Yeah. You look at that even compared to like Nintendo's like eShop side of stuff and the Switch Online. Yeah. Like, no one's got anything on Xbox for Game Pass. Like, how easy it is to use. The usability of it is incredible.
And the availability.
Absolutely.
The fact that very quickly it was because it's Microsoft, it's available on PC straight away. I was like, that's a bit of a coup that they've got there. That's a bit of a win. And that plays into the narrative that they are focusing just on being a publisher, basically, a distributor of games.
Yeah, and even more so now that there's rumours of like Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush, which are previous Xbox exclusives, now potentially coming to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch as well. You know, people are like, oh, they're just going to be, you know, dropping all their main titles. Like, no, I don't think so. I think it's game specific in those points. Because I mean, like Hi-Fi Rush, that's a classic Switch game, surely. Do you know what I mean?
But it seems like it's made for it, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It makes total sense. It's not like they're dropping Starfield on PlayStation and Switch tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? That's totally different. So I don't know. I don't see it that point of view. You know, they've always sort of brought games over, in my opinion, that makes sense, but this is like a big step in that direction, so I can see why people are concerned.
I mean, let's play Fantasyland for a minute. Would it be such a bad thing? Yeah, what, to have Game Pass on everything? Have Game Pass everywhere, and the Game Pass console doesn't exist anymore. I guess to really kind of understand it, you have to look at the realities of like what are the sales like and stuff. Like, we know that Game Pass is 15% of their revenue, something like that. In the Xbox kind of sector of Microsoft. Yeah, that's not very much. It's not very much. It's not enough to abandon everything else and just go full in on. No, and they've been pushing it really hard. So there's room for growth there. Yeah, and we will see almost inevitably, like the rumors are suggesting, we will see Game Pass kind of leaking into other areas. Yeah, I fully expect to see Game Pass on the Switch 2 or Pro or whatever. I really do see that happening. I mean, it might not, but how good would that be? Like, it'd be so good. For Switch owners, it'd be amazing. Because Microsoft and Nintendo have got a really good relationship. Yeah. Microsoft have already come out and basically said, we're not doing a handheld, because you've got PC handhelds like the Asus ROG Ally and now the MSI Claw and stuff like that, which are Windows-based, have Game Pass on them, and you can natively download the games or stream them. You know, so they don't need that. But that's very niche, like super niche. You know, think of how many people have a ROG Ally versus tiny 150 million people plus that have a Nintendo Switch. Yeah, you know, and Nintendo's already got that relationship with them. It would make sense. I mean, the Switch launched with Skyrim and stuff like that, you know, and now it's a huge area for third-party publishers. It's not just Nintendo anymore. So seeing Game Pass on that would make sense. Seeing Game Pass on PlayStation wouldn't let that happen. No, of course they wouldn't. No. And if they did, and if, let's just entertain this fantasy that Microsoft could say, okay, we're going to stop the console war, like hands down, because there would no longer be a war anymore. Yeah, you know, that, like, even though there's not anyway. Just that's another episode. Well, let's say they ejected from the console you know, side of things, and just became a publisher, you know, just did Game Pass and said to Sony, hey Sony, look, we'll stop making Xboxes if you let us be on there. Sony would turn around and go, yeah, okay, and then after a year they'll go, nah, I don't want it anymore, and then they're screwed. Do you know what I mean? What also, like, in that setup, what is the purpose of Microsoft in there? In that kind of hierarchy of businesses? You've got the people that make the game, the developers. Yes. The people that fund making the game and then get them out to the consoles, the publishers, they publish the game. Why would they need Microsoft at that moment after that? No, exactly, yeah. So Microsoft's purpose becomes totally irrelevant. And Microsoft has, its history is in producing something for this software to happen on. Yeah. And again, like, the consoles are a big thing. You know, huge. They're expensive. B, I mean, I don't know how much money they make, if any, on Xboxes. I know a while ago there was talks of them losing money. Yeah, I think they made it a loss. But how? But most consoles are made at a loss, at least at the start. But you've got to think of all the accessories and the Pro controllers and the headsets and all the other rubbish that you can buy. Why would they have done things like removing third-party accessory connectivity to their consoles? If this was their plan? Yes. It wouldn't make sense. That obviously hints at their plan is to license out the connectivity to their consoles. Yeah. And again, they've got a huge fan base, even though it's
even though they sell less Xboxes than any other system, there's still a massive fan base for Xbox, you know, and everyone's waiting for the next one. Do you know what I mean? If you're then forced to buy a PlayStation because there's no other option on the market, can you imagine Xbox players going, cool, Microsoft, thanks for removing my thing and forcing me to go to Sony just so I can play your Game Pass? Like, it's not going to happen.
No, it does seem ridiculous, but it's a story that's out there and it's being talked about.
It is, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can't see it happening. There's got to be competition. You can't have PlayStation being the dominant force because Nintendo's a separate thing. Nintendo's in Nintendo Land.
Yeah. That's
not a competitor. Xbox and PlayStation are directly neck and neck in terms of, you know, raw performance and its whole thing. I just cannot see them doing a Sega. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they can't go... Because Sega shot themselves with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they really did. And I understand Sega's totally different because it was Sega. It was just a games company going up against Sony, which is this huge entertainment company, and Nintendo, which had brought themselves up.
Yeah.
Microsoft obviously doesn't need Xbox. Microsoft's Microsoft. Like, this is like a side project for them. But... they can afford to remain. Yeah. You know? It's not like Sega where they went, we either go bust or we become a publisher.
Much like Sony could afford to remain when they started.
Yeah, exactly,
because it was such a huge company. And I guess Nintendo, when they started, it was a big company. It had other things.
Yes, it'd already been around for like 100 years before, you know? It wasn't just born of...
Is the NES that old?
Yeah, it is, But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just can't see it happening, personally. Like, I really don't see it happening.
I know. And the fear is, like, you play that kind of scenario out, and so you've left PlayStation to their own devices. They're already pretty hectic and doing some crazy things that aren't particularly consumer friendly.
No, not at all.
Left to their own devices, how much is the hardware going to cost?
£1,000 for the system, 10 grand for the headphones, $4,000 for another controller. You know, it would just be like all over the place. Like, you need competition.
So if that's not the future of Xbox, what is?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, straight away we saw with the leaks previously with this all-digital Xbox only and this new controller.
Yeah, an all-digital Series X.
Yeah, and then Microsoft pretty much came straight away out and said, well, that's not true with our current plans. You know, things have changed a bit.
Whether that was a red herring, though. Could have
been. I mean, an all-digital Series X does make sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
But now we're 3 years into this new generation. There's talks of a PS5 Pro coming next year, maybe, 2025.
So to catch people up, in that leaked report that came out, that had kind of Microsoft's vision for the next 10 years or so.
Yes.
They said that in these plans, there was an all-digital Series X, and no plans for a mid-generation upgrade.
Yes.
Like a Pro version.
They said there would be no Pro version. Yeah.
No Pro version.
It would just remain as it is.
I find it hard to believe that they would hold steady on that course. The sales are already behind the PlayStation. Yep. They're already way behind Nintendo.
Yeah.
We know the Switch 2 is almost certainly going to happen
imminent.
this year.
Yeah.
We know the PS5 Pro is coming as well.
Yes.
And they've just released the slim version.
Yes.
PlayStation sales are the highest they've ever been.
Yep.
They're just far outperforming them.
Yep. And the PlayStation Pro will finally make it more powerful than the Series X.
Exactly. So they'll have the marketing spiel to be able to say, we have the most powerful console. Yep. There may be more than one exclusive game for PlayStation by then.
Yeah, true.
Maybe Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, true. Spider-Man 2.
Wolverine will be out by then.
Maybe.
But they'll have all the clout.
Yes.
If Microsoft don't do anything.
Exactly. And Microsoft always have been, we're the most powerful.
Yeah.
Haven't they? Really?
Yeah, we may not be the most popular, but we're the most powerful.
Yes. They've always, because they're like a PC company, really.
And they're finally starting to get the games that justify that.
Yeah. They've got that into place. You know, they've got that architecture there.
So wouldn't it make loads of sense for, let's say, in 2025, there is the Xbox, whatever they call it.
Yeah, the next gen.
The next gen, that early?
Yeah, that's what the rumours are. The rumours are that Microsoft are not doing a Pro because they're just going to go straight to the next gen. So screw you, PlayStation. Screw your Pro.
Wow.
We're next gen. That's what the rumours are. And maybe it's not until 2026, because you think PlayStation 5 Pro, I reckon is 2025, end of 25, right? So I reckon maybe they get a year's glory. Look at us, we're big top boys, and then Microsoft are going to go, next gen.
That's it. When they talk about that console wars thing, I hate that term.
Yeah, me too.
And I hate the camps thing. We get a lot of kind of comments back to us about leaning one way or the other, how we're wrong always. Doesn't matter which way we lean, the other people come out. We are always wrong, to be fair.
It's whoever pays us the most cash. Come on, get it right.
Yeah, and at the moment, Microsoft obviously giving us a big suitcase. Yeah. When they actually talk about like console wars, what I hope happens from that is that competitive development.
Yes.
Because that only means as a consumer and as a gamer, I get better experience each time because they're trying to outdo each other with better and better hardware, better games, better performance.
Yep.
If that were to play out like that PS5 Pro comes out and then within like the next 6 months, the next gen Xbox comes out, then PlayStation have to do something in reply to that.
Yeah. Well, maybe they don't because they've already released the Pro. They're not going to spend all this R&D and everything else developing a Pro system.
The Portal 2.
Oh, yeah. Update. It just lets you stream from it.
Finally.
Yeah.
But it's £500.
Yeah. The DLC to unlock it. Yeah. The firmware updates, paywall.
It's a live service console.
Yes.
Yeah, you just have to keep buying game subscriptions and microtransactions. Actually, that's Game Pass, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty get on board with that.
But yeah, I mean, I think they could do that because Xbox and PlayStation have always released similarly in time.
Almost identical.
Yeah, almost. I think the one thing that threw it out was the Xbox 360 and the PS3. They were off, weren't they? Yeah. And then it co-aligned, and then they were very, very, very close, like probably within a couple of months. I don't actually know. I'd be intrigued to look into that, but very close in time, at least the same year. Come on, it's got to be right. So I reckon Microsoft could do a curveball and let Sony think they're making the right chess move there, going, look at us with the Pro. Microsoft go, we don't do a Pro. Oh, shame for us. You've got the better console now, guys. And then 6 to 12 months later, they're like, check out the next gen. Oh, and now we've got Game Pass with games. We've got games for it. We got games.
Do they do an all digital Series X then in this timeline?
I can totally see them doing that. I could see them doing that. I think
feels logical.
It feels logical, but I also think it's totally pointless if they are making the next gen that soon. We're 3 years in now. This has got to be the most lackluster next gen development.
This is the fourth year.
Yeah. Oh, this is the fourth year.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? You're right. So yeah, I think as a console generation, this generation has been the most underwhelming of any generation.
By a long way. Yep.
So I think Xbox are like, nah, screw that. We'll just jump to the next one. I really do. I don't think they're going to bother with the all digital X because they've already got the Series S, which is all digital. And if they were going to make an all digital X, it would have to be cheaper than the current one by like a decent amount to make it viable. Because
I know what they could do.
Yeah,
they could release an all digital Series X.
Oh yeah.
With an attachable disk drive for an extra £120.
That needs a firmware update.
Yes.
So it's, redundant in the future.
Yeah, that's what I think they'll do. That sounds like a really good idea.
That's a good idea.
I've seen people selling them already.
Have you? Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to get rid.
Why? But yeah, I don't know. I don't see them doing an all digital X now. I think that was old plans. It wouldn't even surprise me if they use that cylindrical tube thing as a basis for the next gen. But I definitely think they're going to let Sony play out the traditional move, stock system, slim.
It's almost like they're saying they surrender this generation to Sony.
Yeah. And I think that's sometimes you got to win some, lose some. Do you know what I mean? Tactical planning here. I think they go, you know what? Yeah, fair enough. Have this one, but we're going to come in well early with the next one, and we're going to have loads of cool games that are going to be exclusive to this gen. With their acquisitions.
Why is it that Xbox underperforms in the marketplace compared to a PlayStation?
I don't know. I think it's just the name, you know? Like, if you went, like parents, they always go, yeah, no, I got him the Nintendo. It's like, no, you didn't buy him a company. You know, you bought him a system. It just happened to be made by Nintendo. It's the same thing. Like, PlayStation have got the name. Yeah. It's been around since the mid-90s. Yeah. And it sounds good. Yeah. You're playing on this station. You know, like it's the PlayStation, you know, like,
and it's a simple naming
convention. It's a simple name. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It always continues. Yeah. It's not like Nintendo, you know, with random names all over the place. It is just what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It's literally marketing.
Yeah, I think, and again, they got in early. That's all it is. Xbox, I prefer the name Xbox. I think it sounds cool. I always think of that original Xbox, how cool it was in like 2000 when I saw it as a kid. I was like, green lights coming out everywhere. I thought I was getting abducted by aliens.
Like your head right now.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, I was like, this is so cool, you know. And PlayStation just seemed a bit normal, like then. Do you know what I mean? Because it was, it just was what it was. Whereas Xbox, it was this huge new thing. And I was like, wow. And I just feel like they've always been on the back foot because they had like 10 years less head start. But I don't know. I don't really know why they've got less. Maybe, again, games maybe. I've like the games.
Games is it's a really big thing. Because on paper, it's a better computer. It's a better performing computer. It's got better hardware in it.
Yeah, it's more powerful, yeah.
I think this generation of Xbox is the best they've made, barring the problems with the 360 since then. I genuinely think it's a great, both the Series S and X are great offerings.
Incredible. I think in a way they'd be wise to get rid of the S on the next generation and stick to one system.
It's confusing, isn't it?
It's confusing, but also think of the work of the developers. Yeah. You know, because Xbox policy is, unless it can play on both with parity, you know, complete parity, like we don't want it. The one exception that was made was Baldur's Gate, however you say it, right, where they said, well, co-op don't work on the S, and Xbox went, no, we don't want it then. And then they changed their tack to went, oh, go on, release it anyway. And so they let them slip, so there's no co-op on S. They say it's coming, but who knows. But so they kind of stopped that. Yeah. So the developers then have to spend more time trying to balance. This is like Cyberpunk all over again. You got like 20 systems you're promised that you put it on. No, just turn around and say we made a mistake. Yeah. Put it on the newest one only and just make it good. Do you know what I mean? And I think if the next generation Xbox is just one system, then all these developers can really hit hard on making it look amazing, really put all their efforts into making it the best it can be, rather than trying to juggle the like.
PlayStation definitely got that right from the start with this generation of PS5.
It's the same system, but
disc and discless, and that's the difference.
Exactly.
And before I looked into the Xbox, I assumed it was the same.
Yeah,
I thought, there's a huge difference between the S and the X.
Yes, there is. Which I think is a good move, really, because it makes it incredibly more accessible.
It makes it loads more cheap. Yeah, it's cheaper.
And people would have bought it that wouldn't have normally. Do you know what I mean? Because they've gone, you know what, I could still play the most newest games, but maybe just not at the best.
Yeah, saying that, I've just defeated my own argument. That's why I bought the Series S. Like, I don't want a whole new thing, but I do just want to play some games. This is like, it was like £200 at the time. I know, it's still a lot of money, but it's a lot less than.
But that got you into this Xbox hype. Yeah. And now you're like, you know what, I want an X, you know? No, but
we're not allowed to say it too loudly, but yes, I've been looking at an X.
But it makes sense though. So I think in that respect, because they're on the back foot in terms of sales, makes absolute sense. Release the less, like the handicapped brother, you know, you release that, and
there's no way to talk about your brother.
He is handicapped, so that's what makes it good. But you know, it's that kind of. It makes sense from a marketing point of view and a sales figure kind of thing. But to have the edge over PlayStation, truly, I think they need to just stick with one system and make it better. But then you've got the other aspect of Xbox seems very fluid, you know? Yeah. Like the games run across, like from Xbox One to Xbox Series S and X. Do you know what I mean? They just call them Xbox games as opposed to like, it doesn't say on the box just for Series S, just for One, just for X. It kind of whatever. You can buy the Xbox One version and it will just play the Xbox Series X version. Do you know what I mean? It's this cool. I like that about it. It's just whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's just a box that you play Xbox games on. So it makes sense that it can just be anything rather than PlayStation being like, no, this is a PS5 game, but we also are doing PS4. Yeah. Like, it's almost like PlayStation are trying to do what Xbox are doing, but like in a weird way of keeping the PS4 alive. And
just PlayStation just get the messaging loads better though.
Yeah,
they just get the marketing. The messaging is loads clearer.
It can be confusing. I do think this generation for Xbox has been confusing.
Yeah,
because before we jumped in on it and then understood it, I was like, "What's this series rubbish?
Yeah,
like why is there like multiple systems? What's the difference? If I buy one, can I not play all the games? Like what's it was a bit confusing to me, and it's still a bit but now I understand it makes sense, but to average Joe consumer, they're probably like, I'm just going to avoid that. You know? Like that seems a bit confusing. PS5, got it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very simple. Switch, got it. Simple. This one, I think in their heads, it made sense because they were in it, but from an outside perspective, it's a little bit confusing. So for me personally, I would like to see the next gen Xbox be one thing.
Yes, totally.
And maybe if you want to do what PlayStation did, digital, physical.
I think they will. I think that's you have to do that now.
It wouldn't even bother me if it was digital only with the next gen.
Ooh.
The only issue there is that Microsoft love backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
And Series X and S games wouldn't then be able to be played via disc.
I guess the backwards compatibility thing, all you've got to do, and they'll be able to look at the numbers, is how many people are actually taking advantage of it as a percentage of their player base.
Yeah.
And
is it worth it? Yeah.
I want to see it there forever, but I know that I'm a screamingly small percentage. Almost certainly of total players.
Yes.
I'm sure it's the same for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure most people listening to this are like, yeah, I love my old games, but I think that's kind of like a diehard few.
Yes.
It's like the console master race rather than the PC master race.
Exactly. And we did a whole episode about digital and physical. You know, where we were ranting
We've changed our minds so many times on it.
We have, yeah. But I would, next generation, actually be okay with going digital now, even though I'm a physical collector. Yeah. Because, like we said in the previous episode, you know, about digital and physical, you're buying like Call of Duty and stuff like that on a disc, and it's not even on the disc anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a code. And then every time you have to load that game up, it's so annoying. You need to get the disc out, and it's not even playing the game. It's just reading a license or giving you access to download it off the server anyway. So just get rid of that. Screw it. Make it digital only. Give us Game Pass. It would make sense.
Yeah.
Tie it with that. It's digital only, but you get 6 months of Game Pass when you buy the new system or something. Do you know what I mean?
Just as a quick aside, talking about how annoying it is, discs on games. And we talked about how annoying the PlayStation is for that before, that it just randomly spins it up even if it doesn't need to do it. I was watching Amazon TV on my PlayStation last night, which is the thing I use my PlayStation for the most. Not really. I'm actually playing it again.
I'm not.
For those of you that hate me for it, but I am. Anyway, I was watching it, and there's a disc in the drive, and it starts off and it starts making a racket. Okay, it will stop in a minute. And it does. It still does the disc checking thing.
Really? Even when you're not playing the game?
Not playing the game.
No.
It's like half an hour in, the PlayStation starts whirring up like a turbine. Like a generator in my room.
That's one of the reasons I don't care about the disc anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, just shut up. You know, like just give me digital. It's silent.
I think it's just generally going to be more accepted, especially by the younger generation of gamers that are playing now. They probably just don't care. And also, if you're buying, let's say, the Xbox, whatever it's called, the Xbox Series A,
Series
the
E,
PlayStation 6, are we really going to be collecting those games? I know we're not, because by the time that they're like deemed valuable, we're talking 30 years ahead, the old men
will be in the retirement home trying to sell them on eBay. Like, remember when we did a podcast about this one?
I hope we're still doing a podcast.
Oh yes, in the retirement home.
30 years, just of total dementia.
Yeah, we'd just be remaking these episodes again, thinking that we hadn't recorded them.
Let's talk about the PlayStation 5.
Come on, Grandpa, we're on PlayStation 11 now.
Oh, the Switch 2's coming out soon.
You've got it on your desk over there. Shut up and play it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it would make sense for it to be digital only, and that they release the next gen instead of trying to do a Pro. Really mess Sony up.
Huge shout.
Mess Sony up. And I'll tell you one thing, Christina is a massive PlayStation fangirl as well.
Yeah.
We bought the PS5 day one.
Yeah.
And last night she said, maybe we should sell the PlayStation 5. Because all we do is play Xbox now.
Oh.
She said that last night. Quote.
Wow.
She went, we don't play it anyway.
That's big.
She said, there's nothing on there I can't play on here on the PC.
Shots fired.
I know.
Has she finished Final Fantasy yet?
No, she did. No, she did. Yeah. But I haven't got her to start playing 7 Remake 1.
Was she playing 16?
15. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, she needs to play 7 Remake. That might make her love PlayStation a bit more.
Sealed.
And Crisis Core.
Got that on Switch.
I forgot that they did that.
Yeah. But yeah, she said, and 7 Remakes on PC as well, so...
Is it?
Yeah, I could play it on Steam Deck.
I know Sony have got a weird relationship with Square, but I kind of hoped that it would be tighter than it was.
Yeah, I get you.
I was really surprised when I was looking through the Xbox online store on the Series S, and you can buy like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8. They're all there to kind of hope that would just stay on PlayStation,
Yeah. But it's not.
Another reason.
You can go everywhere else.
Yeah. So you can sell your PS5?
I don't know if we will, but she said that.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
I don't know. So is it the end of Xbox?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
it is.
I think that's just nonsense rumors.
I think this is the beginning. I really do.
Wow.
They've spent so much time and effort and money making Game Pass and buying developers to make games. They're not just buying them to not make games.
Yeah.
They're not hoarding them
Monopoly.
Yeah, no one's ever going to make any games again. They're doing this for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think finally they're going to succeed with this.
It'd be exciting to see. It'd be exciting to see a proper console war as well. It's like a proper developmental contest.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the next gen system.
Yeah,
when we see
huge.
the PS5 Pro.
So there we have it. The rumours of rubbish.
Yes.
It isn't the end of Xbox. They're just coming back even better.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But as always, let us know what you think in the comments below on YouTube Land. If you've joined us on Spotify or flicking the Podbean.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. Somewhere you can listen to podcasts and make your girlfriend happier.
Beans. Yeah. That too. Or make vegan choices.
There you go. It's about coffee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it could be coffee. Yeah. I like coffee.
Or chocolate.
Oh. I'm liking this Podbean thing now. Yeah. It's good.
So flick the bean with us by rating us 5 stars. People in YouTube land, press the buttons below.
Do it.
Subscribe to the podcast. Like this video.
Oh, yes.
And maybe even consider joining channel memberships.
Oh, yes, do it.
Why would they do that?
Because then they can watch our beautiful faces talking about whatever we're talking about early. Not giving recipes with beans.
It's nearly lunchtime here.
It is. I'm really hungry.
Kind of deliriously hungry.
Yeah, that's it.
And of course, before you go, watch one of the videos that's stuck between our faces.
Watch videos.
Anything in particular?
Whatever.
Oh, good.
Just videos.
I think we should end this now.
Okay, bye.